Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Mighty Joe Young. This is the remake of the 1949 film, but this one came out in 1998. It stars Charlize Theron, however you want to say it, however she wants to say it. I don't know, we haven't talked in a while. And Bill Paxton, the late, great Bill Paxton, in the lead roles. This has a number of Disney tropes to it. Well, at least the one biggie, which is dead parent. The only difference is we get double bambied in this one right off the bat. Shirley Theron's character, she plays Jill Young. She's the daughter of a famous researcher that catalogs the activities of gorillas and other wildlife and in the jungle. And her daughter comes along with her on one of her expeditions, and gets they're watching a family of gorillas, and one of which includes a very young Joe, who is already they realize is growing pretty quickly. He's really big for his age, but they come across some poachers at about the same time in the same place, and it does not go well. One man who is a little bit gung ho about grabbing whatever he can is responsible for killing both Jill's mom and Joe's mom. So, as mom dies in the jungle, again, these are some early spoilers. It's just early film stuff. I'm not going to give away too much, but this movie has been around for over 22 years, so nobody saw it when it came out, according to what I saw in the box office numbers. It didn't even make half its money back, but that's a whole other thing. That doesn't really matter. That doesn't figure into the quality of the movie. So, what we have here is is a mom telling her daughter, her probably 8-9-year-old daughter, that, hey, take care of the gorillas for me as I die my last breath, and sings her a song as she dies. And so, yeah, 12 years later, we visit the same place. Bill Paxton comes to town, or to the wilderness, and he's there to, he's a conservator of, is that the right word? Conservationalist? He's there to sort of, I guess, track or look after. He wants to find this mythical creature, the giant protector of this land, which is really Joe. But people have been pretty good at keeping it a secret to a certain degree. At least they talk about it in myths and legends. But it turns out it's Mighty Joe Young. It's Joe. He gets the last name Young from Jill because they're kind of brother and sister in a sense. They're best friends, and she's living out there in the jungle with him. Somehow I guess she's, with being in the jungle, she's not just a total jungle girl. She's knows the people in the area, so she's knows the tribes and has culture and education apparently beyond what was given to her before her mom died out in the wilderness. She didn't ever seem to leave that jungle. So yeah, we got Jill growing up with Joe, and Bill Paxton comes along. He plays Greg O'Hara, and he says, "Look, there's people out here who know that." He ends up hiring some people to help him out, and well, one of them is played by Naveen. What's his last name? Naveen. Come on, Naveen Andrews. He you might recognize him as Saeed from Lost. So he's in this, but he basically Bill Paxton's character gets these guys to come along. They're kind of for hire guys, and they're used to capturing and killing. Well, capturing at the very least. They're poachers, but Bill Paxton doesn't want to harm any of the creatures. He just wants to track and I guess see what their lives are like. Of course, they come across Joe, and once they realize that he can be calmed down and handled by Charlize Theron, then he's like, hey, look, if I know about him, soon other people are going to know about him, and Joe is not safe here. So we got to get him out of here. I have a place in California, outside of Los Angeles, where he'll be safe to roam in a protected area, and he won't see any harm, because soon poachers are going to come here and start hunting him down, and you don't want that. So she grudgingly agrees to have Joe sent to California as long as she's in charge, and that quickly gets not underwhelmed. It gets undermined. Gets undermined pretty quickly, especially when the man who killed her mother and Joe's mom finds out that this gorilla lives. Oh, by the way, when Joe was, when he was battling there, the poacher guy, the rich, like, Russian poacher guy, in total facial hair kind of villain way, he bit off the guy's thumb and forefinger, his trigger finger, as he says, and that's how they connect, let's just say, later on. So we got the bad guy gunning for Joe, and he doesn't care who gets in the way. He'll gun down Charlize Theron if he has a chance, and he does get that opportunity more than once. And there is a big kind of scene toward the end where, of course, you got to figure if he's moved to the city, he's got to escape at some point, and it's not New York City, but there's plenty of King Kong references as Joe makes his way right along Hollywood Boulevard in front of the Chinese Theater. Honestly, if Disney had properly owned the El Capitan Theater across the street at this point, and they would have been making this movie today, Joe would be climbing all over the El Capitan. But instead, he's crawling all over the Chinese Theater, and some people are amazed by him and also scared to death by him all at the same time, because he's a pretty scary big guy. It's a 2,000-pound gorilla that they say stands 3 men high. He's massive, and he wreaks havoc in the town. And one of the most obnoxious things that happened was just watching the crowd react to him. They literally wasted what seemed like an eternity just to see this one guy go, "Fat." Like, why? It was the slang of the time, apparently. He had to say fat. P-H-A-T. So yeah, it's a big adventure. It's a big, wild adventure. One of the fun things about it, you can't really ignore the special effects in this. It's a mixture of practical special effects, of animatronics, of guy in a gorilla suit, but convincingly, and CGI, which helps scale things in relation to the proper human elements that are on the screen at the same time. And it works pretty flawlessly. It's not, the CGI sometimes isn't as great as it could be, but the practical stuff is actually really good. One of the funny things I found when I was looking through the credits list is Ray Harryhausen makes an appearance in this as a guest at a party. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Stop motion animation legend Ray Harryhausen makes a bit of a cameo. But yeah, other than that, it's I think one of the strong suits of this film is actually, believe it or not, the special effects. There are moments when he's moving through the jungle, or if he's moving through the crowd of people at certain points of the film. I won't spoil what happens, but you kind of can figure what's going to happen when a gigantic gorilla, gets agitated. And he means no harm. He's a sweetheart. He's a big teddy bear. But yeah, it's these guys are out to mess with him, and it's not fun for Joe. And Charlize does her best to calm him down, but sometimes he just looks like a runaway train in this thing. And he looks both sympathetic and sweet, and also terrifying at the same time. So it's kind of, it's not terrifying as a horror film kind of thing, but when you realize the size of this creature really in relation to anything else, if this thing was standing next to me, it would be utterly terrifying if I didn't know what his demeanor was truly like. So yeah, this is a movie that I think the whole family can enjoy. It's It's at times exciting and fun, and there's some cute moments in it. It's not the greatest movie in the world. It's not like it's going to be, oh, Charlize's greatest performance or anything else. But I think it's a fun, underseen and underrated film. I thought I had seen this movie. I remember seeing the ads for it nonstop back in the 90s. But I thought I saw it, but I realized watching it now, if I did see it, I don't remember one bit of it. That's about it. So, yeah. So, yeah, if you get a chance, check this out on Disney Plus. It's not a must see, or you got to see it right away. But if you've watched almost everything else, but if you're interested in seeing a young Charlize Theron and Bill is revisiting some of the works of Bill Paxton, why not? Check it out. Oh, by the way, other people, David Paymer and Regina King are in this thing. There's a number of other people. Oh, Robert Wisdom and Peter Firth. If you recognize those names, some of you won't, but most of you won't. But some of you might. They make appearances just from some familiar faces you recognize from so many other films. By the way, Regina King was most recently in Watchmen on HBO. She was a lead in that show. But she has a smaller role in this one, so it's worth checking out if you're a big Regina King fan as well. So she has a little bit of role, but you almost kind of wondered if the way everything ended, it wouldn't have made sense. I'm just rambling now. It's been an exhausting weekend, and look, I shaved. I haven't gone out, but I shaved. Hey, let's pick. Let me guess. I didn't prepare these things either. Mighty Joe Young, you came here to watch me sing. So I fast forwarded through that whole last bit there. Now, let's pick tomorrow's Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. 392. Let's see what we got there. And by the way, you notice that I never break on these things, so you know that I'm not just dropping in stuff that I picked something that I didn't like, and so let's edit it and add a different ending. No, I don't do that. This is uncut. Obviously, you can tell it's not as professionally made as it should be. 392 is something we've already seen, so let's see what that is. 392, it was National Treasure, Book of Secrets. So we're going to pick another one. That's why, this is me keeping myself honest. So you can't say that I just pick stuff that I like, that I want to watch. 302. We've gone through so many 300s. I'd be surprised. Yeah, we saw 302 also. Here, I'll show you. 302 was Lab Rats Elite Force. Yeah, we're not going to watch that again. Okay. Making this video so much longer than it needs to be. 663. I'm pretty sure we have not had that number. Come on. 3s and 6s. We're going to clear out the 3s and 6s soon. Oh, no. Oh, there's a classic. 663. I have seen this. It's been a long time, but it's time to revisit it. The Sandlot. 663. The Sandlot. Wait. 663. Yes, 663. I thought it was one of the sequels there. Boom. So The Sandlot on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Let's go watch that. I'll see you back here tomorrow and we'll talk about it. See you. Bye. Oops. I know The Sandlot was on here earlier in the year, or at least when it was launched. Right now, all it has is The Sandlot Heading Home. It's a sequel that I don't know if we needed, but you know what? There is no other Sandlot on here, So I'm going to mark this off the list. I'm going to defer to The Sandlot, Heading Home. Maybe it's great. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never seen it, but I really was looking forward to watching The Sandlot. Killing me, Smalls. So, yeah. We're watching The Sandlot, Heading Home. Sorry for the super extended wiffle waffle of choices here. But yeah, as we get further and further, it's going to happen. I'm going to have to reset this list eventually, but with all the new stuff especially. All right, I'll see you back here tomorrow with The Sandlot, Heading Home.